Greetings, this is Hailemah. These are my fabrics and my wraps. I promised you a little tutorial today. It will be short, so just an introductory for our group. I'll be using a lot of black, some sheer fabrics, some other printed fabrics, and highly embroidered fabrics, along with accessories such as elastic style belts and metallic belts, which we will use to support our garments as well, and our ties and wraps. So as we get started, pay attention, and we'll see you again in a minute. Okay, before we get into the bulk of the wrapping with the darker color, I like to use a little bit of color. I love color. You see, I've got some pinks on my wrist here with red and pink bracelets. The pink I have here in my hand is not quite as sheer as some of the other fabrics I'm going to be using. This is called the L-shaped bodice wrap, which is a top wrap, really. We wrap everything. It's not just the hipsters, but we wrap our tops as well. So this L shape, if you hold it up, you can see that it looks like an L. What I'm going to do is just to switch it around and take the long part, which is the tail end of my L, and keep it around my waist so that that's going to go around. But first we secure the top part of our L, not the tail, but the top part of it, and the long piece that hangs from the back, the top part of our L, will come forward towards your front midriff, and securing the other side, the bottom part of your L, and taking the long tail part of your L and wrapping it around. You can do it once, or you can do it twice, depending on the size of your waist. In this particular piece of fabric, it's long enough for me to do my waist, and I will go around for the second time and take it snugly around, come forward again, and grabbing the piece that I had secured initially, making sure that my back piece is tucked in neatly here for my side view. Then tie and secure. This is a stretchy fabric, so it's really easy to work with. I like stretchy fabrics because, again, they conform to the body shape. Whatever body shape you have, be happy in it. Work it. Hipsters, rapsters. You can just tuck in, and what I could suggest is you either leave this loose, or you can create a very cute little knot. I tend to have a particular liking for asymmetric looks, as my top knot here, my asymmetric knot in my hair. So I do it again on the side and create another soft, feminine bow type effect. So when we do that, basically it just matches a little bit with the asymmetric feel of the hair. Regardless of what you do with your hair, I tend to keep little brooches. I like brooches a lot, and they can be used on outside of jackets or anywhere. I tend to use them in this case here, but this fabric is not sewn at all. It's cut, and so the edge is a little raw, and so you don't need to have it sitting out. You're just going to have it tucked in, and you can take a nice brooch as this, or if you choose a little more color to match the bracelets, you may do so, whatever you're liking. But just take a little brooch instead of a safety pin to gather this off a little more. Expose a little more if you're in the Caribbean or in Milan or wherever, and it's warm. You want to have the sun hit your skin beautifully. So we take a little bit off the nape and the chest decolletage area, secure with a pretty pin, and we have our L-shaped bodice top. Back view. One can wear with or without the bodysuit, but if you choose, the bodysuit is fine. I hope you like this one. Stand by for more with Hailemah. Okay, thanks for staying with us. This is Hailemah with the second version of top bodice wrap, as I call it, my L-shaped bodice wrap, bodice or top, the old English version bodice. This is an L-shaped piece of fabric. I've shown it to you before in the first one, which was a pink piece. This isn't a stretchy, but it does stretch. Again, I mentioned that I will be using this with the long tail end, which is the longer one on my right. Starting first, simply enough, have the shorter piece drape over your shoulder, pull it enough so that it's secure and it sits a little high on the shoulder. You just simply tuck in the edges, take the long piece of your L-shaped top and stretch it. Again, as I mentioned, this fabric is not as stretchy as the first pink piece, but securing it is not at all difficult. You simply, again, place the back portion underneath your rib cage, bringing the piece that you're bringing from the long part of your L-shaped bodice top forward, grabbing the other end where you started with your tail end of your L, and secure. It's really that simple. And it's cool, it's quick, it's a piece of fabric, it doesn't have zippers, buttons, or anything to feel restricted. I'm actually wearing a bodysuit. Well, it's not actually a bodysuit, it's a top and leotards, which you can just throw anything over. You can wrap anything, your hips, your top. In this case, if you are wearing a bodysuit, you don't have to worry about anything falling out on the sides if you're well endowed as I am. But simple enough, you don't have to put a brooch, you just tie it, secure it, and if you choose, you may put a brooch on the top. I did that with the pink piece. That was really cute. I like that. Here, this brooch doesn't particularly match, but you know, if you choose to, you can do that, and it makes it just a little more fashionable, and it also keeps the tucked in area where you're going to put a little pleat or two, and just put your brooch pin through it, so there's a little gather, and that makes it a little more unique, and it's your signature. Again, there's no patent on this, I just created this. I was talking about being able to travel with just like a couple of pieces of fabric, which really, essentially, this can not be used as a bottom wrap, it's really just a top bodice wrap. But it's quick, it's easy, it's attractive, and it's light. That's the main thing, it's light. And just another Hailemah original. Stay with us for more wraps for you hipsters, keeping it lit. I have 3 more pieces of fabric, and they're dark. I'm wearing black. I tend to like black a lot. It's not just only slimming, but it's traditionally, for if you're talking about nightlife or the evening, it's one of our favorite colors. I put a little bit of gold and on my bangles, of course, accessorized. But we're talking about wrapping today, and wrapping our bodies in any manner that we choose that's decent and legal. This is completely sheer. I use this, it's called my circle skirt, and it's a circle wrap. It's really just a piece of fabric that I had cut a hole, essentially, in the middle. It's long, and I had cut it what we call on the bias, when seamsters speak. What happens is when you cut a hole in the middle, the fabric falls with little tears on the end. So this is really essentially one piece of fabric, straight across. Sorry, I'm cutting my face. Straight across, it's doubled over. It's one piece, and another piece is doubled over. And then I had simply cut a small hole in the center. Then I found it much easier to slit the hole down the center on one side. So then now we have created an easy way to not just to step into my circle, which I was doing before, like stepping in. And if you're wearing high heels, as I am here, it's not that easy if you're going to step into a sari skirt or a circle. So I cut it down the middle. But essentially, it falls this way. If you notice, it's not just straight across. It falls in a V diamond, and there are tears on the bottom. If you notice, they swing and they swing. That's going to be how it's going to swing and sway on your hips. And of course, you got a lot of movement there. So we grab our fabric and we place it to drape front forward. So we've got these tears here at the bottom. When I say tears, it falls like a frill, essentially. So I placed here, and it falls like a V. You won't really see it that much, but it falls like a V, and I'd like to step back a bit, because maybe you'll be able to see a little bit of what I mean, of how it falls. And it falls with a frill effect. Now, we can actually take this around several times because it's such a large piece of fabric and it's sheer. That's another reason that you really want to just keep it wrapped a couple of times. So I'll start here. I secure on the side. I'm taking a look in the mirror as I show you. And I keep it flat against my abdomen and I reach back, carrying the fabric around. Essentially it's very light, so it's not that bulky. You won't have a lot of fabric around your waistline, making your waistline a little bigger. Or you can take it on the hip. So taking it on the hip, I like that because you can see that it's falling in this flare. Sorry, I don't have a lot of room here. And it's falling in a flare, and it's falling as though it's a maid skirt that was actually stitched. But it's, again, just wrapped. So you take it and we tuck in. You can actually grab a little bit of the original fabric because it's so stretchy that went around the first time, and secure on the sides. You can secure on the front, whatever's best for you, whatever feels comfortable. There are no rules, okay? That's what's so fun about wrapping. There are no rules. It's just free-form art, as I call it, fashion as art, or art and fashion. Again, a side hip-hugging feel, and you can lower it, or you can take it up higher, if that's what makes you feel comfortable. For me, I like it. I kind of like it midway. So, as you turn, you can see the side view and the rear view, and there is this very soft feel to it because there's several layers, and as you move and as you see the bottom, it falls in tiers, and that creates a very, very feminine look. So I like this piece of fabric, and it's very versatile. You can take this into a shorter skirt actually. You don't have to have it as long as I have, and you can just double it up if you choose to do so, and you can take the ends and tuck it in. It's that simple. Again, you make your own rules, and as you go, you may find other ways that you feel comfortable wearing your wraps. And this becomes essentially a sarong type, where you have a very free-flowing, light, airy feeling. You can dance in it, and it gives you two looks. So you can take it down and have that long, more slenderizing look, or you can have it shorter, whatever you like. There are no rules. Just keep it lit. Wraps. Hipsters. Hello again. I came to another area of my home to share with you the long version that you couldn't really see that well in the other room. Because of course the beauty of this skirt, again, is the flared bottom, and if I move around a bit, you'll be able to see how it moves, and that light airy feeling that I mentioned earlier. And again, if you're in Milan or the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, or wherever, and it gets a little cool, and your lover doesn't know, your husband doesn't have a jacket, you always keep another scarf, and perfectly beautiful, just fabric. Keep it wrapped. Another little treat for you. The same scarf that you saw me put over my front to drape earlier. Take it to the back. Tie it neatly. You've got a nice triangular piece hanging over the tie, and a front view, again with the lovely skirt hem that flares. It gives you that same triangular feeling in the back that you get on the bottom of the skirt. And this effect here with little cap sleeves, they're really not sleeves, it's only a wrap. That's the beauty of wrapping. I want to show you another option. I have these belly dancing. I'm teaching myself the belly dance, and I'm having a lot of fun at it. So I bought all the gear and the get-ups, and this is just one of them. If you want a little bit more drama and a little more discotheque or gypsy dancing feel, the same edge that you take here, if you'd like to take the wrap that you have underneath, push it down a little bit on the hip to accommodate an additional wrap. I'm moving over a little bit because I'm trying to see myself in the mirror also to secure this. And drape on the side. Now you're going to have a lot of dangling going on because that's the fun and the beauty of these wraps, but you can use an additional wrap or a wrap. I'm wearing gold slippers. I have gold and silver bracelets, and of course you make the rules, but keeping it wrapped is not only fun, it's economical, and with a couple of pieces of fabric you can just do amazing things. So I have two more wraps for you. We've done two tops, two versions of the skirt, this free-flowing, gauzy, very flimsy, dancing party skirt, a long version which I'm wearing, and of course we took it up in an earlier segment and we showed you the shorter version by tucking in the ends. I'm going to show you two dresses, an over-the-shoulder type wrap and another straight bra top. And that's coming along next before we close our segment today. So keep with us while we keep it lit. Wrap stars, keeping it wrapped. Well, what do we have here? I have a bit of gold going down the center in this original piece that I've worn the whole first segments. It actually is, like I said, a top, and underneath I'm wearing a body tights, actually, leotards, and support on the garments that are black as well. This one I will switch into shortly. This actually could be a dress if you dare. It's scalloped, it comes up in the center, and it's very sexy. But I will be wearing it underneath as a support for the next segment because we're going to be using, again, about 5 yards? 5 yards, it's quite a lot of fabric, to create my dress, the last two versions of this wrapping it up segment, and how to wrap several versions with simple pieces of fabric. So as we continue, I will be sharing again a beautiful piece. This is an Indian inspired piece, and this can be done in several ways, and I'll share a little bit of that as well in this last segment. So without further ado, we shall be preparing for you our final wrapping it up segment in just a moment. Hello again. As I mentioned, this foundation piece is really a dress, and it's a short dress, and it's going to be combined with the 5 yards of fabric I mentioned earlier. It's a form-fitting dress, and it's very comfortable, so it can either be brought up, and that's another version. We're going to work with wrapping, and we're going to continue with our wrapping today in our segment. This is it's actually the same cut of 7 yards of fabric that I purchased, and some of that became the skirt that I showed you earlier in terms of the long and the short version of the tiered skirt. And this is the remaining 5 yards, and it's, like I mentioned, tons of fabric. And you kind of wonder, well, how am I going to wrap all this around myself without looking like a, you know, about a size or two bigger because of all the fabric? But it's going to be really easy. So what are we doing here? I take my fabric and I tie it around my nape to keep it really loose and comfortable. You don't have to make a big tie. Make it sexier. You can have a little piece of a tie hanging down the center of your back. That makes it look a little bit sexy. Just something fancy, and it's soft and it feels good hanging down the back. So just a little piece like that. Then, to release a little bit of the beauty of the foundation piece, you've got a cow neck type of thing going on here with the drape that I've already started for the front neckline. This fabric has a sheen to it, and you may not see that unless of course I'm not working with my cameraman. My king is not helping me today. I'm on a solo, so I'm not able to come in really tight. But it does have a silver sheen, and you may see a little bit of that. Then we take the fabric and essentially just get it in the continuation, almost like when you're doing a sari, where it's draped really nicely. You don't have to make pleats as they do with the sari in terms of measuring with fingers and creating a pleated effect, but I take this and wrap it around, bringing it behind neatly. If you don't want it to be too thick on your the small of your bag, you can just flatten it out a bit so it becomes more like a bag. One piece hangs over like this, and fabric around. You can have a piece hang on the back. You can bring it more to the front so that it falls in line if you choose to dare to be so very thick in the middle of the original foundation dress. And we have knots that's essentially easy to produce here, and you keep this fabric draped over the front, slip it underneath, and bring it through one time, and you can just pull it, and pull in your waist tightly. You've got a very nice drape. You're showing a bit of leg on both sides and a little underwear. If you're walking upstairs, you still don't worry because some of your leg is covered. You have this really nice drape happening here. You have a little bit that shows your front. You can bring it down if you like, a little bit as in my first demonstration with the cap sleeves. You can have this if you want to have someone do it for you. It'll be easier. But have it be pulled down over your shoulder, which makes it really soft and sexy. It shows a little bit, but not too much. There you go. I'll get it. And we have a dress that's perfect for evening, light and airy, and 6 yards of fabric. I'll show you another version where we can either take a belt, which I can do now as well, or I have two versions of belts here. With all this beauty going on here, I may not in this case, but if one chooses to do so, you may add accessories in any version that you choose. But it's already secured pretty well when wrapped around, so you don't need to have a belt. But this is a type of belt that's fabric, stretch belt. It's very decorative, and it's easy snaps like that. And this one you may add as well and make it a very elegant finished look with the draped front, the shoulders covered, or not, into more of a halter type finish. So there you have it. Another version of Hailemah's original wraps. Thank you for staying with us. One more version of 5 yards of fabric is another version of this dress. Welcome back. We're at the final segment showing the second version of a dress for my 5 yards of very sheer, light, sort of a silver hue finished fabric. I did earlier what was one cowl neck version of this dress that I call my Hailemah Originals, and this one is going to be one shoulder over one shoulder, which is similar, more similar to the sari, which everyone is familiar with from India. So I take my fabric and drape it over one shoulder and pick up the fabric as it's very light. I'm going to take it up and travel it around my body, picking it up on the other side as I go. This is going to be a similar version, as I mentioned, to what we call the sari. It will be a little longer than the first dress, which was pretty short. And that was fine, except, you know, sometimes you might want another version. That was the whole beauty of trying to utilize the fabric and have it go several different ways without it feeling as though you're still wearing one look, which is just not versatile enough. So this one is giving me a little more difficulty, but we will get there eventually. It's keeping this over the shoulder that's essentially the challenge. So as I drape around and then I come around, I start to feel that snug feel of the sari, and I wish I had a little more, a long version, panning here with getting a longer version for you. But I have a little bit of fabric here that I'm able to now tuck in and secure. I'm going to be using an aid in terms of a belt, which is it's a hipster. I like to use the term hipster a lot. It's a belt, but we can use it on our waistline here in this case. It's quite long. I have several inches still left of chain. You can let that chain fall to the back. This is another interesting view as you walk away. And Secure it tightly enough, but not so tightly that if you have a good dinner, you're going to feel a little insecure about it bursting. Now, I'm not able to see what you're seeing, but I'm going to turn around a little bit and turn around some more, and I can see what you see in my mirror behind me. And again, this is a longer version of the first dress. This is an over-the-shoulder version. It can come down a bit and feel a little more sensuous, more like the sari. It's not dropping into your dinner plate. It's just sensuous enough. You can certainly take it up over the shoulder if you're a little more comfortable with that. And for me, I think that's a more comfortable feel. It's form-fitting. You see your shape. It's snug. It's really comfortable. But then again, you have this, as I mentioned earlier in the film, this asymmetric feel of a little bit of fabric on the side. So a lovely look. A little bit of a Grecian, if you want to call it that, African, let's go back to originals, and that look and the soft feel for the final version of Hailemah's originals. Keeping it wrapped. Thank you for joining us. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too, and we'll be coming forward again as time goes forward. We'll be bringing more of Hailemah's original wraps, and so keep with us, join us with your own versions. And thanks again for viewing. Blessed love.